story depresses you, how would you describe the story? The story is depressing. Everybody knows depressing?
Yes.
Makes you feel
I think almost every.
sad. Depressing means saddening, makes you feel sad. If a story depresses you, how would you describe yourself after reading the story?
I was depressed by the story.
Yeah, if it's right now, I am depressed. If it was last night, I was depressed by that darn story.
Just,
I was depressed, but the story was depressing. Yeah? Okay. If some work tires you, you probably never heard this verb in
It is
the.
tiring.
What does to tire mean?
Exhausting.
Exhaust, to exhaust. Good, Sarah. Make you feel
Tired.
it tires you. Hi, Marta. It tires you.
Tiring.
It takes away your energy. It tires you. Takes all your energy away. It tires you. Okay, if some work tires you, how would you describe yourself?
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I am tired
By this.
by that work.
By that work.
I am tired. T-I-R-E-D. I am tired by that work. How would you describe the work?
The work
Tiring.
What kind of work is it? It's
Tiring.
because the work is the doer. The work is creating the problem. You are receiving the problem. The work is the doer. It's tiring. You are the receiver. I'm tired. Yeah? Is this sentence active or passive? What voice is this sentence in? The voice.
Effective voice.
Do you see a be or a past participle over here? No be, no past participle. This is active voice. Okay, what is the subject in this active voice sentence? This is the subject, okay? This is the verb, and this is the object. What is doing the action?
The painting.
Miguel. The painting is the doer. Okay, and the receiver? You. The receiver is you. Okay, so for the doer, sorry, the painting is, I'm getting confused now. So this is a noun. This is a noun. Okay, so the painting is a thing. It's an object of art. This object, this art object, is causing interest for you. So interest. We're gonna change interest over here. Okay, so we're gonna change interest to describe the painting and interest to describe you. Okay, so how do we describe the painting, the doer? I'm gonna go back to interest to describe the doer.
I am interested by the painting.
Okay, good. So Louis just gave me the second one. He gave me what Armine gave, the same one. Okay, so you said. Okay, very good. By the painting. So we have a by phrase, and we know that the doer, the agent, this is the one that was the subject. This was the subject in the active voice. Okay, this is a passive voice. Louis, you made a good passive voice sentence, and we have to use the ed to describe, it's describing the receiver. Okay, which is, it's actually a subject in the passive voice. Here's the be, here's the past participle. I am interested by the painting. Very good. But how do we describe the painting? The doer.
The painting is interesting.
I'm using interested for the receiver, so I have to use interesting for the doer, for the painting. What kind of a painting is it? It's an interesting
painting.
Bravo, that is correct, Armine. Yes, it is an interesting painting, an interesting book, an interesting movie, an interesting article. Where does the adjective interesting come from? It comes from passive voice. It comes from passive voice. It's describing the agent or the doer in the passive voice. That's where it comes from. So you don't have to worry too much about that, but you have to know if the subject is doing the action or receiving. Okay, that's usually how we tell active voice from passive voice. Okay, and if you're describing a receiver, you have to use ed. If you're describing a doer, you're going to use ing. You could say, the interesting painting caught my attention. The painting interests me. I am interested by the painting. And sometimes we also use in. I'm interested in the painting. Okay. If a situation embarrasses you.
Embarrassing situation.
It's good, Islam. It's an embarrassing situation. And how do you feel, Islam, in that situation?
I am embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Ed. Embarrassed. It sounds like I'm pronouncing a T, but I'm actually, that's how I pronounce ed after a voiceless consonant. Embarrassed. Embarrassed. I feel embarrassed. I'm receiving embarrassment. So I have two sentences. Frightening monsters scare children. Frightening children is something that you should not do.
Can I explain?
Okay, Mari's gonna explain it for us.
I think the easiest way to understand is like you can make a question, frightening monsters scare children. Which monsters? So you understand it's adjective. Frightening is like adjective there.
That's
You can
right.
ask a question. And frightening children is something that you should not do. Here it's like a something, it's a noun, frightening, like frightening children. What you should not do.
What do we call those nouns that end with ing?
Nouns, not ing.
The nouns that finish with ing. Gerunds. Very good.
So I think it's easiest way to understand when you ask a question, you understand where it's adjective and where it's gerund.
Okay, so I look at it another way. You're right. You're right. I always.
But can I ask a question to Mari?
There's a question for Mari.
Just call her.
What if the children are frightening, really, like monsters?
What's what?
Can you repeat the question, Armine?
What if the children are frightening like monsters? We can be frightening children.
Scare children.
I don't understand.
Are they, the children are frightening like monsters?
Yes.
Oh, like the children are like evil children?
The frightness. Frightness.
But
So the question, which children, it can be frightening children, it can be like an adjective.
no, you are asking to.
Okay, let me go to my explanation. Okay, so I would say, first try and find the verb, the main verb. Look for the main verb. That's gonna be your starting point. Okay, so let's look for the verb in the first sentence. Frightening monsters scare children. What's the verb here? Scare. Scare is the verb. Okay. Okay, so who or what scares the children?
Monsters scare children.
And subject is monsters.
Who scares children?
Monsters. Frightening monsters.
The monsters scare children. What kind of monsters? Frightening monsters. Most monsters are frightening, so that was kind of a dumb sentence, but yeah, so this is the subject. I can take off frightening. If it's an adjective, I can take it off, and the syntax, the basic grammar still holds together, right? I can say monsters scare children. Frightening monsters scare children. Okay, so I have a noun here that could be, this noun could be the subject of this verb. Okay, but what if I take off monsters? Because if this is a gerund, then it could be the subject of a verb. Can I say frightening scares children?
No.
It doesn't work, does it? Frightening scares children?
No. Frightening scare children.
It doesn't work.
Why not?
But if we have two frightening monsters scare children, and if we omit
No,
frightening,
it sounds
it's
good. Frightening
turning two monsters scare children,
scare
and it works.
children.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna just jump to the second sentence because I
Mhm.
think you'll see it clearly here. Okay, frightening children is something that you should not do. The verb here is is. Okay. Okay, so we have a verb, everybody agrees. What is the subject of this verb?
Frightening.
What is something you should not do?
Frightening.
Can we say children is something you should not do?
If we can. You have
If
to.
you don't have any children yet, children is something you should not do. No, the childless students are like, okay, yeah. So it doesn't make sense if we say this is the subject. Okay, so in this one, I said we can take off this, we can take it off, and we still have a logical sentence. But if I take off frightening here, now it doesn't work. This doesn't work. So it looks like we need this word. We need this word because okay, this is a gerund and this is the subject, and frightening children is a gerund phrase, and together these two words are really the subject of this verb. But of these two words, this word is more important. This is the most important word, and this ing will always have a singular verb. But what about this verb? Is this singular or plural?
Plural.
How many?
Monsters.
How many are in the subject for this verb?
A lot of.
Monsters.
Okay.
At least.
plural. We have a plural subject, so we have a
Wonderful.
plural verb. This is a plural verb. Plural verb. But when you have a gerund as your subject, as the root of the gerund phrase, your verb must be singular. A gerund subject will always take a singular verb. Yeah. Okay, Armine, did that help at all? Of this.